Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. The major confirmation we've been expecting for some time has now finally arrived. G2 reveal their full 5-man roster plus their coach for the upcoming season, and Dapr makes his thoughts very clear indeed on the Sentinels organisation that effectively dropped him going into this offseason. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. First of all, Creative Team of the Year at the Esports Awards goes to Loud. More awards coming up tonight, I believe, that maybe Loud can get involved in as well, on like Esports Team of the Year and Esports Game of the Year as well and stuff from the Esports Award. There's all these different game awards and everyone says they're rigged and corrupt, which maybe they are, but still, I'll probably keep you guys a little bit updated tomorrow. Quick note as well on the Gen.G Black team, loads of organizations lately dropping their Game Changers roster, which is an interesting surprise to me, just because there were some rumors arising that potentially the teams would be mandated to have a Game Changers roster. If you're in kind of the partnership league, you might be mandated to have one, and many teams that were clearly, I thought, at least having some success with the their kind of Game Changers ecosystem. The C did very well, the World Championship did very well, but still loads of teams are dropping their Game Changers roster, which is a bit of a surprise to me, but nonetheless, I just thought I'd keep you guys updated on it. Now let's talk G2. Finally the confirmation arrives after 5 or 6 days of teasing and baiting around about this. They do a really nice video actually here. So they filmed this over in Europe, of course. G2 Esports, I mean, look at this now, it's pretty good going. G2 Esports 2014 to 2022, kind of joking around about the fact that they died. The Andrew Tate saga happened with Carlos, then you know, they get banned from getting into franchising, and now they've got to do it the hard way effectively and go through the tier 2 ecosystem. One of the big questions to me is, as I play this announcement out, they even do the press F to pay respects thing right here, but one of the big questions to me is, some teams are going to be automatically allowed into the kind of challenges ecosystem for next season. So out of the 12 teams that are going to get through to challenges and play through the tier 2 circuit to try and get to Ascension from North America, up to 6 of those teams can be automatically decided by Riot, and they can make the call and say, hey, we're going to give you guys what is effectively an automatic invite. So you know, we'll see if they do that for G2, just because G2 obviously after that whole drama aren't necessarily in the good books, let's say, of Riot Games, so there is a chance that they say, you know what guys, you've got to do it the hard way and actually go through the qualifiers rather than getting the automatic tier 2 invite. You would think that a team of G2's caliber would get that automatic invite, especially given the quality of the roster I believe they've put together here. But we'll see if they're actually forced to qualify the hard way themselves, and if they are, then things could still get rather interesting. And he's teabagging the mug right here, pretty entertaining stuff. So goodbye G2 Esports, and then welcome back to G2 Esports. And even they send this van around the tour of the US. Thanks for keeping our spot warm, Cloud9, saying that they're coming for Ascension. Winning Ascension from the Americas is not going to be easy. There's going to be some solid teams in South America and in Brazil and Latin America, and there's also some very other good teams in the North American side as well. Obviously, you know, 100 Thieves, they're already there in the Pro League as a Cloud9, and even they say this, at Riot Games, they pull up outside the office, didn't you get the memo, we never left. So we'll see if Riot give them a free pass into challenges, which they can do, but whether, you know, we imagine that maybe FaZe on the Guard and these organizations will get that free pass. Whether G2 do as well, whether by getting rid of Carlos they're now in the good books again, I don't know, but I guess we'll see how this one goes. So Penny, of course, is part of the team. I didn't really even mention the roster, but it's ShahZaM, it's Dapr, it's Penny, it's Whippy, and it's Oxy, of course, formerly of Dark Ratio, and I believe he's still in his game. It still says G2 LFT Oxy, because he's gone as LFT because looking for team for some time. And honestly, Penny, what a phenomenal player. This guy, formerly of version 1, super excited to see Penny and Whippy in action because they are incredibly underrated, I think, as ShahZaM says, excited to continue my journey. So he's gone. Sentinels, done and dusted, he's over. Now it's G2 going forwards, and Dapr makes his thoughts very clear. We could tell really that Dapr was not a happy man with what happened at Sentinels, given the fact that he was told that he was going to stay. I'm pretty sure that he was asked on stream at one point, I think we talked about it in a video, he was asked like, hey, are you staying on Sen? Because all the drama was happening, players were getting dropped, things were changing, and people asked Dapr like, hey, are you staying? Are they keeping you? And he was like, yeah, don't worry guys, I'm going to stay. They've told me I'm safe. And then, not long after, they bring in the Brazilian guys from Laos, and then they drop him and they say, okay, hey, you can still get a spot on the bench if you want. And either he felt that was disrespectful, or they then said, actually, no, you can't because we're going to get sick and he's ready to go. And maybe they didn't want to give 2 spots on their bench. So, yeah, Dapr obviously has not been happy with the way he was treated at Sentinels, and even ShahZaM wasn't happy about the way he was treated at Sentinels after he said that he found out he was dropped via Twitter and George Geddes rather than by the team telling him themselves. So for a few reasons, this team has a point to prove against Sentinels, and I would love to see them actually play Sentinels in person, right? So like on an actual match. Unfortunately, though, they are in different leagues for now. So Dapr says join G2, and this was, we believe, I think a while ago now, this is when they did the plane that flew over. G2 like hired this plane to put this sign behind it because when the G2 Send drama was happening. But you know, still, it's got a lot of traction here on Twitter, and that's what's going to be the case. Now, can they qualify? As Imi says, their new head coach, with the experience we have, with the talent we have, we should be going up to the franchise league. That's the exciting thing about tier 2, is that if you win Ascension, then you qualify. Now, winning Ascension is not going to be easy. First of all, they've got to get into the Challengers League. They've got to do well in the Challengers League, well enough to qualify for the Ascension tournament at the end of the year, maybe in June, July or something. And then when they do qualify, if they win it from the Americas, then they qualify for 2 years into the tier 1 ecosystem with all the other teams. And I think there's a solid chance that if that was to happen and they were to actually make it into tier 1, then potentially Riot could change their mind about letting them go back down again to tier 2 and just say, hey, maybe we'll change our mind on which organizations we partner and keep G2 involved in going forwards. That they, of course, they were going to be, but then the drama happened that you guys, I'm sure, are aware of. And he also goes on to talk about the roles, saying that with the meta unclear, he wanted to ensure they've got flexible players. Penny is actually not going to be on the dual list. He's going to be on the flex. He believes he's going to be great at that. Dapper's going to go back to the Sentinel role. Everyone else is flexible. So ShahZaM's going to be the IGL initiator. And then I believe it's going to be Oxy, who's kind of the duelist here. And I think now a couple of sources have said, including Mintiff from Impulse, that Oxy will be the duelist or on the operator. Penny's going to be on the flex. ShahZaM's going to be initiator and IGL. Whippy on the smokes, and then Dapr on the Sentinel. So that's what we currently believe for this roster. I think it's a very good team. They've got a lot of talent here. I'm excited. I don't really know too much about Oxy, to be honest, but Penny and Whippy, man, like great couple of players there. And the version 1 team is now completely gutted, right, from their last season. We don't really know if version 1 are going to stick around with their VALORANT team going forwards either. So look, will we ever get a Sentinels versus G2 match? I would love to see it. The drama is there ready to go, but for it to happen, they'll either have to play in some like kind of third-party tournaments together, or they'll have to qualify for Ascension, which and actually win Ascension, which is going to be a far harder task, I believe, than people initially realized, because there are a lot of good teams down there in tier 2. The Pro League, of course, is very tight-knit. There's only 10 teams in the Americas and the other regions. It's difficult to qualify for that, and therefore there is a lot of talent that were, I mean, you look at the guards, you look at a team like FaZe, they've got players that were, on the borderline, if not tier 1 players last season, and now they're down there in Ascension, and those are the type of teams that G2 will be competing with. And as we continue this talking point, let's talk the M80 team, because that's another very solid squad down there. Nismo and co, like only one of all these teams I can mention can actually qualify for Ascension and win it. Now, apparently a CS legend is going to be joining the M80 organization as their coach. Of course, CS legend Happy. If you guys haven't seen the clip, of course, on Inferno, CT side with the Deagle back in the day, Happy with another 0 and a third, right? The similar call. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal stuff when he gets the ace with the Deagle, but I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen that already. But that's Happy, right? And a legend of the scene, and he's going to be joining M80 as their head coach. So pretty crazy stuff. M80 are taking it serious as well, and G2, it's not going to be easy for them. There's no doubt about it. Now, this is the rest of the tier 2 sheet here by Flynn, and there's some mad stuff on here. So a few changes. One to note as well is the Dark Ratio team, with Oxy being gone to G2 and now confirmed. Apparently, Will might be replacing Oxy. So, formerly 100 Thieves Will, that's one to mention. The other thing to note here is on the protagonist team, with Flyer, Brook, Governor, a Proto. This is possibly, this is crazy to me, this might be a Mr. Beast team. Mr. Beast apparently is interested in signing a VALORANT team, and this might be his team. We'll see. So Toast is signing a team with Coach Ocean, Steel might be there, some others, and apparently this could be Mr. Beast's team. So, I mean, I don't even know what's happening anymore, but this is the latest information that we have on that front. So definitely tweet your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. A couple of things to mention before we close out the video here. They did their video last night, episode 1 of The Fearless, looking really and following the story of the Loud guys and their kind of progress and their journey to becoming world champions. You could argue that maybe, given it was the talking about Masters 1, they could have focused more on the actual winners of the tournament in OpTic, but I think that kind of that's what they're going for. They're focusing on Loud. And also some notes from the EMEA VCT, a big confirmation yesterday. It's going to kick off in March, right after the first tournament begins, or after the first tournament in Sao Paulo. 8 weeks of single round robin, match days on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, a 6-team double elim playoffs. Masters will be in June, then the Ascension tournament in July, champs in August. That's what's going to happen next season, which is definitely notable, right? Just because we're talking about Ascension, that pretty much the season is going to run for the tier 2 sides from January until July, when their big challenger tournament tournament happens to determine which teams get to go up to the 3 respective leagues. And then champs in August next year is to the present understanding. But very much enjoyed your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you are new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.